All right, welcome to today's show. So I'm going to jump in now and talk about why Bitcoin goes up when the world prints more money. So we're going to look at that and also look at strategy because we know when Bitcoin goes up, overall strategy goes up as well. So not financial advice in this video, not tax advice, not legal advice. Do your own research. So I want to go in and just show a chart today. I thought it would be fun to take a look at why Bitcoin tends to go up when banks print more money. We're going to talk about global liquidity, which is basically a fancy way of saying how much money is floating around in the world and how much money is available out there. We can measure M2, which is the money supply, the M2 money supply, which is cash, it's checking and savings accounts, it's money market accounts, it's short-term deposits. So there's all kinds of cash floating around out there. When we talk about the global money supply, we're talking about the US Federal Reserve, People's Bank of China, the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, all of those. So we're going to get into it today, and this will be brief, but I want to get to it and just take a look because now is the time to start looking at data. We're in this 6, 7, 8, 9 months of what we're expecting to be the run. And so we should start looking at data and see what's actually happening out there. And the more data we can look at, the better. So let's jump in and take a look here at this fun chart that talks about, not this one right here that talks about and shows you the M2 global supply of money. And so if you look at the white line here, you can see that the white line is actually Bitcoin. So if I zoom in here over here so you can see more, you can see though the white line is actually Bitcoin. And so you see over here that Bitcoin price point is around $105,900. And then if you look at the pink line, you can see that the pink line is the M2, which is the money supply, the global money supply. And you look here and it's about 107 or $108 trillion. And you look below it where it says YOY, that just means year after year growth rate, which is 3.76%. So the money supply is going up. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see this better here. So the money supply is going up, and you can see here by this pink line, and you can see in 2025 here, you see this pink line going up, and we're at 108 trillion in global money supply here. And then you can see the Bitcoin price in the white line here, and it's about 105,000. And so there's a lagging indicator here, which basically as the money supply goes up, Bitcoin is supposed to, based on history, there's kind of a lag on Bitcoin going up that's about 3 to 6 months. And so when you look present day at the current situation, you see that the money supply goes up and then Bitcoin typically follows after it. So that's what we're looking at here, to just look at the graph and look at the charts to see like what's happening with the money supply. And it tells us right here what's happening. It's going up. That nice pink line there shows us what's happening. Okay. So what does it mean? Basically, pretty simple. Why does it matter for Bitcoin? When banks print more money or when they lower interest rates, that's called quantitative easing. So when you look back what happened in COVID, and we had lots of money printing during COVID, you saw Bitcoin shoot up from 7,000 all the way up to almost $70,000. And so there was a crap load of money that was printed and put into the economy. And quantitative easing just means more money gets printed and more cash enters the system. And when there's more money floating around, people often invest it in stuff they think will go up, like Bitcoin. So when M2, which is the global money supply, goes up, Bitcoin tends to go up as well. When the money supply goes down, Bitcoin might fall as well. And of course, since there's only 21 million Bitcoin, as we know, that means more money coming into the economy, chasing the same amount of Bitcoin. Also, as the money supply goes up or the money printer turns on, people are waking up to the fact that their dollar purchases a lot less, and people don't like that. So automatically, we saw this happen during COVID. people started to wake up to the fact that, like, wow, they print a lot of money, prices go up. I go to the grocery store, my avocados are more expensive, my eggs are more expensive. I go out to eat, things are more expensive. And, the world's waking up to what's actually going on. So when it happens and more money gets printed again, people are like, okay, we got to look for other assets to put our money into because we're going to lose more value of our dollar. Or if we're in Japan, we're going to lose more of our value of our currency over there, or England and so forth. So the world wakes up, they get more money, obviously, because there's more money circulating in the economy. And then people tend to put it in riskier assets or store a value like Bitcoin. So that's basically what you see happening. Again, if you're just joining us, we're looking here at the charts, and we're looking here at the global money supply. And this is a chart that shows the global money supply. And you can see one line here that shows the global money supply, which is the M2 money supply, or the M2 supply, I should say. And so that's the pink line here. And that goes all the way up. And if you actually look at it on the graph and you can see it, it's about $108 trillion floating around. And you can see the end of the line here is where we're looking, where the graph goes, the line goes up and the pink goes up. And so that's the money supply. And so historically, Bitcoin follows the money supply and it lags like 3 to 6 months behind. So since we just had a big boost where the money supply has gone up and more money's going into the economy, Bitcoin lags like 3 to 6 months behind that. So if the money supply is increased in March, you can expect that Bitcoin price typically, historically, has gone up 3 to 6 months later. So what does this mean? A lot of experts, or some experts, are saying, hey, we could have potentially $140,000 bump on Bitcoin in July, meaning it going from 104 to 140,000. Some are saying that. And then some are saying, of course, there's a 3-month lag or a 6-month lag. A 6-month lag could put us into September, October, November. And October, November, December are typically when the bull run hits anyway and hits its peak. So this is what we're looking at. It's just good to look at data and see what's happening. I can put my cursor over this so you can see it a little bit better, but you can get the gist of it and see basically what's happening here. $108 trillion. And also, if you go back and you look here, look at this big blue line here. If you look right here where my cursor is going, that's 2020 and 2021. So the blue is the increase in the money, in the growth rate of the money supply. If you look at the blue line, and look at that, it looks like a freaking iceberg, man. And that's like, if you look 2020, this is all 2020 to 2021, the growth rate is like 20%. And that's because of the printing of money. So look at that. It's insane, right? And you look at the line too, back in 2020, and you look at, Bitcoin's price here, which is Bitcoin's the white line. So you look at Bitcoin here in 2020, you look at that white line peaking and going up here as well, all the way up through 2021. So you see that big run of Bitcoin. The money supply goes up, and you see Bitcoin going up as well. Pretty cool, right? So what could happen in the future? We will see. Time will tell. Of course, the past is not an indicator of what's going to happen in the future. But right now, in mid-2025, the global M2, there's varying data on this. So this chart says 108 trillion. You got the biggest 4 central banks, which is US, China, Europe, and Japan, and they make up about $96 trillion of that. So depending on what the accurate data is, could be 108 trillion, 120 trillion. But that chart's showing 108 trillion. And so US, China, Europe, and Japan make up the bulk of that. The other thing that just happened on June 3rd is the US also did a $10 billion bond buyback, and that adds more money into the system. So as we know, the US goes out and they loan money to people, and then people pay them an interest rate. And so it's like, great, we're going to buy bonds from the US. And so loan money, get interest rate. US loans money, they loan money, and they pay out an interest rate. And so when this happens, the US has just recently bought back $10 billion worth of those bonds. So, I'm reversing the flow. So people loan money to the US, and the US pays an interest rate, okay, based on a bond. And so recently the US bought back those bonds. And so when they buy back those bonds from people, they're putting more money and injecting more money into the actual economy, which increases the money supply. And that happened on June 3rd recently, which is, an indicator of the money supply going up. So there you have it. So that's what's going on right now. And historically, when you look at the Bitcoin price, it tends to lag behind the M2 growth by about 3 to 6 months. So the most recent liquidity boosts, which have started in 2025, it could mean a strong rally is coming sometime around July, June-ish, September, October. Okay. So that's the story. What does it mean for strategy? We know the strategy holds over 580,000 Bitcoin. They continue to stack. They have all these phenomenal products that they use, such as Strife and Stride and Strike, additional ways to raise money to buy Bitcoin. And what it means for strategy is if Bitcoin is going to track and follow the M2 supply, and the money supply, meaning more money going into the economy, is going to help Bitcoin prices go up, then of course that's going to help strategy go up. So it's good news for strategy as well. So it's nice data to be looking at. And the bottom line is more money in circulation equals more people buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin price follows global liquidity. Global liquidity is up right now. So we can expect that the Bitcoin price should go up more and more with a few month lag on it. So that is the scene. Now, if we go over here, we can just do a little recap of yesterday's in case you missed this, because this is an interesting thing to look at with data as well, which is this chart here. So when you look at this, I showed this yesterday, but I'm going to do a recap for those of you who missed it. Basically, what we're looking at here is when you look at this indicator down here, you see the Z-score. This is basically the temperature for Bitcoin. So the Z-score basically takes its temperature. Is it Bitcoin really hot, and is it overheated, and is it at a peak, and are people going to sell off, or is it neutral, or is it cold? And so right now, if you look at Bitcoin, with Bitcoin as of June 5th, the Z-score is like 2.27. And so in prior bull runs, the score was up at 7, and it was up here. It peaked out at 10, and back here it peaked out at 8.98 or 9.23. So we're not even close to a peak on this right now, which is great news. So if you're wondering what's happening, well, the global money supply is going up, more money goes into the economy, good for Bitcoin, and the temperature that measures if Bitcoin is at a peak or overheated is basically this Z-score that we can pay attention to, and it shows us data for where we're at. So for me personally, I don't know. I might just hold on to my Bitcoin. I don't know that I'm going to take profits off Bitcoin. I've been holding Bitcoin for a while, and strategy is a different story. So I'm going to take profits some point this year. I don't know how much I'm going to sell, but I like looking at this data because we're coming into the final 6 and 9 months of what I think is going to be the bull run. And it's good to see data and see where we're at and make informed decisions. So that's it for the day. I hope this serves you guys. And I hope that you're enjoying this. But I think these are just good things to look at in a very simple way where we can understand it. So to recap, Bitcoin is not overheated. On this score of 2.27, like a 7 would be overheated, where 1 would be like, oh, wow, okay, it's like, are we getting kind of are we overbought here with Bitcoin? And we don't appear to be overbought even close right now. All right. And as far as the prediction of where the price is going to go, I talked about what some analysts said yesterday, and I don't know where the price is going to go, honestly. I would hope that we hit $200,000, and I would be thrilled if we hit 200K in 2025. I know some people are saying wild predictions on where the price is going to go, but if we hit 200K, I would be very pleased. And I also believe that if we hit 200K for Bitcoin, I got to believe that this is very, very good for strategy. And I think that's where we're headed. Saylor's been amazing at the Bitcoin conference. If you didn't get any chance to watch his talks, I think he's just fantastic. I love his vision for what he's doing. He talked about the MNAV. So if you have a chance, go take a look at his talks in the 2025 Bitcoin conference. And I think it's an exciting day. Paul's asking me, did you grab more Tesla at 284 or lower? No, I'm not. I have a little bit of Tesla right now, but I'm not really playing that game. I think the future is super bright, but it's so erratic right now with what's going on with Elon. And it's probably a great buy, I'm sure, at 284. But, my play right now is Bitcoin and strategy. And I do believe that Tesla is going to be a beast and moving into the next 5-10 years. But I'm just excited about Bitcoin and strategy. I love it. I love what they're doing. And I think it's very, very exciting. So Anthony's on. What's happening, Anthony? It's good to hear you and see you. And thanks so much for your words there. And then Abdullah saying some insiders selling MSTR. I'll have to take a look into that. It's good data. I saw you post that yesterday. I think I'm bullish for what's happening with MSTR. I'm just bullish of what's going on. All right. We got more and more Bitcoin treasury companies popping up following the MicroStrategy playbook. Trump media is on board. Adding 2.3 billion is what they're planning to do. And then they announced another 12 billion yesterday. So that's very bullish and things look good. So this is the time, this is the next 6 to 9 months where it's freaking super exciting. And I can't wait. Every day I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next? And of course we go through the ups and downs. We just saw the big sell-off with Trump and Elon, butting heads with each other. And ultimately it's too bad, but Bitcoin dropped to 100,000. Bitcoin's got a great support level down at $97,000. And if you look at the chart that I was just saying, or showing, it's basically showing that there's like here, if you look at the market cap, so you look at the market cap here, and that's the black line. And then if you look at the realized cap here, the realized cap is basically what people bought Bitcoin at. So you look at the realized cap here, and then you look at the market cap here, and that's the actual price of Bitcoin. And then you look at the realized cap here, which is where, people bought Bitcoin at. So you can see that people are in profits, right? So you see the difference between the spread between those two lines. And then we'll be watching this. I'm going to be watching this all the time because they do a great job at Bitcoin Magazine Pro updating this sucker. And so when this starts going up to 5, 6, or 7, I'm going to be taking a look at it and see what I'm doing with my portfolio as it relates to strategy. So that is the weather and the sports. It's fun times in the world. We couldn't be in a better time right now to be in this ecosystem. It couldn't be a better time, I think, to be in strategy and Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but strategy's a beast. Saylor's a beast. He's going to keep buying. And if you go watch his speech at the Bitcoin conference, I mean, he literally talks about, like, no matter what happens with strategy, he's got a plan. And with these financial products that he has, I literally think that he's figured out a way to just, I won't say beat the system, but utilize the system to just create a winning strategy for the next 4, 8, 10, 15, 20 years. It's phenomenal. It's really something else to watch. He's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant man. And he got in first and nobody's going to catch him. All right. So hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'm going to go out and have some fun with my girlfriend and enjoy Los Angeles. And I will see you guys on the next show. Leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and share it with somebody if you want. And upwards and onwards, let's flourish in 2025 and let this be the year where everybody's dreams come true, because strategy and Bitcoin goes through the roof. I'll see you guys soon. Stay well.